Every second you sign in during a day, you'll get a reward, and every reward will be completely unique. So what do you want first? It was nighttime, and Phoenix City's streets were full of luxury cars and rich people roaming around with girls. It had been a full 2.5 years since coming to this worthless place. Other people go into the system, build their harems, and become overpowered bosses, while you've been lying around unemployed for 2 months after graduation in a 30-square-foot garbage-like rented room where you can barely move. The money to even buy instant noodles was about to run out. You were lying on the bed, just about to curse the heavens, when suddenly your phone buzzed with a notification. Ding! Your second-year college student sister, Miss Sophie, had transferred 2,000 quid to you, and there was a voice note on the screen. Brother, Mom is scared you'll starve to death. She secretly sent money for food. If you can't survive there, just come to me. Your eyes welled up, and without any ego, you accepted the money. Over these past few years, you had become completely broke. You had to depend on family for living expenses. Your mum, who thinks 1,000 times before buying a new smartphone, couldn't stand to see you suffering. You immediately called your mom, thinking this time you'd play the hero a little. Mom, don't let Sophie send me money from now on. I can support myself. But your mom, on the other end of the phone, was completely shocked. What nonsense are you talking about? During college, I only used to give her 800 quid. I never told her to send you 2,000 quid. Boom. It was like a bomb went off in your head. Cold sweat broke out. If mom didn't send the money, then how much pocket money does Sophie even have? She's a second-year student. Where did she get that much extra cash to send you? Could it be the more you thought about it, the more your panic grew? It felt like someone had grabbed your heart and squeezed it hard. You couldn't breathe. If your sister had done something stupid for your sake, you wouldn't be able to repay that debt even if you died 10,000 times. Your eyes had gone red. With trembling hands, you were about to dial your sister's number. And then, all of a sudden, a mechanical electronic voice echoed in your mind. Ding! 2.5-year probation period complete. System requesting binding. You were startled at first, and then your eyes went wide and stayed that way. Joy had no bounds. Your mind went numb. 2.5 years. A full 2.5 years. Do you know how I've gotten through these 2.5 years? My cheat code has finally activated. But before you could shout with joy, the system's next line poured cold water over all of your excitement. This system will only be bound for 24 hours. Its main feature is a per-second sign-in reward. Do you want to bind? What a joke. I waited 2.5 years for you, and you're playing a one-night stand with me. But you had no option. You gritted your teeth and shouted, bind it. Do it fast. The very next second, notifications began firing into your mind like a machine gun, enough to blank you out completely. Ding, 23 hours and 59 minutes remaining until unbinding. Ding, an infinite space has been received as a reward from which nothing can be returned. Ding, 1 billion quid has been credited to your account. Ding, general top tier maids have been dispatched. Ding, 10 tons of solid gold have been dropped into the space. Ding, 10 million quid in cash has been transferred directly to your bank card. Ding, 10 million energy crystals have arrived in your inventory. You just kept hearing that non-stop ding ding ding, completely numb. Only 6 seconds had passed. In just 6 seconds, you went from a loser who couldn't afford instant noodles straight to a multi-millionaire. At this speed, with 86,400 seconds in a day, by the time you wake up tomorrow, you could buy the entire planet Earth outright. But that sound going off every single second was turning your brain to mush. You immediately muted the system and collapsed onto the bed, so overwhelmed with excitement that you even forgot to call your sister. The next day, the moment you opened your eyes, your first reaction was to grab your phone and check the text messages. There was such a long line of zeros that your eyes nearly went blind. A current deposit of a full 10 billion quid, and that was just the beginning. You stopped going outside altogether. The whole day, you just ordered the most expensive delivery food and stared at the countdown. By midnight, the system finally spoke its last lines. 100,000 top-tier bodyguards have been dispatched. 1 billion quid has been deposited to a black card. Time's up. System is unbinding. Host, enjoy yourself now. The system disappeared just as fast as it had arrived. You called for it twice, no response. But you didn't care even a little bit. There was only one thought in your mind now. I am completely invincible. You focused your energy and stepped directly into that infinite space, which was as large as half the Earth. The sight in front of you blew your mind. This was no normal space. This was a private empire. On the left side was a pile of cash in dollars as tall as a mountain. Roughly calculated, a full 9 trillion. Right next to it, 20 supreme black cards were lined up, with balances ranging from 1 billion to 100 billion. Altogether, roughly 1 trillion. On the right side, 40 million tons of gleaming solid gold. Its shine was so intense you couldn't even keep your eyes open. Even if you robbed every bank in the world, you still wouldn't find this much gold. And the craziest thing was that in the vast field ahead, a seemingly endless army of men stood in formation. A full 500,000 absolutely loyal subordinates, 90 million fully armed muscle bodyguards, 4 million incredibly beautiful top-tier maids, and the rest were world-class assassins assassins, hackers, miracle doctors, and scientists. With this insane lineup, you could now publicly insult even the world's richest man, and he'd have to get on his knees and beg for forgiveness. You smiled and clenched your fist. To hell with job hunting, and to hell with those arrogant capitalist bosses who used to look down on you. Starting today, you'll show every rich person in this city what a real god-level boss looks like. Right now, what do you lack the most? Power, weapons. It's not like you need some master plan to take over the world, but to peacefully survive in this ruthless world, you must have a trump card in your hand. You simply waved your hand and summoned 2 suit-wearing thugs directly from the system's space. 2 mountain-like joint bodyguards, 2.1 meters tall, landed on the ground and immediately bowed 90 degrees, shouting in deep voices, "Master!" That cringe title shook you to the core. But one thing was confirmed. The subordinates given by the system are 100% loyal. Stop it. From now on, call me Young Master. Yes, Young Master. You nodded with satisfaction. Now that you'd started, you pulled out all your trump cards. Swish, 10 top-tier bodyguards, 1 gold medal butler, 6 S-rank spies, and 1 elite hacker. In the blink of an eye, that junkyard of a room was so packed, there wasn't even space to put a foot down. The biggest surprise was that the hacker had a sci-fi level ultra-thin laptop in his hands. Even all these dangerous people had the latest smartphones. The system's after-sales service was truly mind-blowing. You immediately prepared your plan of action. Victor, disable all the security cameras and blind spots around this building right now. The remaining 6 bodyguards and 2 middle-aged spies go to my hometown immediately and protect my parents 24/7 in hiding. Those 2 40-something spies looked completely normal and friendly. If you left them among the neighborhood aunties, no one would get suspicious. Perfect for extracting information. Done, Young Master. All nearby cameras have been hacked. Victor's fingers were moving so fast across the keyboard that they were just a blur. He reported coldly. You handed them a bundle of cash and sent them off. Then you selected 4 spies who looked exactly like college students. You all split into 2 teams and keep an eye on my second-year sister, Miss Sophie, and my third-year high school brother, Stefan. Take these cards. No worries about funding. If there's any problem, contact the butler immediately. In the blink of an eye, that cramped rented room was empty. Now only 1 loyal butler, Frederick, the genius hacker Victor, and 2 personal bodyguards remained. Victor, book a 5-star hotel immediately. I cannot stay in this garbage dump for 1 more second. Tomorrow we'll buy a luxury mansion with a straight cash down payment. You gave the order with full attitude, but then you realized there was a deadly problem. All these people had appeared out of thin air like magic. Technically, they were all ghost accounts. Moving around the country without an identity is practically impossible. Can you handle the identity situation? You looked toward Victor. A confident smile spread across Victor's face, and he pulled out brand new ID cards straight from his pocket. Young Master, don't worry. All profiles are registered in the system. Our backgrounds are cleaner than a newborn baby's. Damn, my system is OP. You were pleased with yourself internally. You sent an angry text to your landlord that you were vacating the room. You didn't even care about the deposit and walked out in full swagger with your squad. Are you serious? You're a god-level billionaire now. Who has time to argue with that annoying landlord over a few coins? Reaching the crossroads, you casually booked a ride. The driver poked his head out of the window, and seeing you all, a bunch of heavy-set guys, his face went pale. Hey guys, this'll be overloaded. I can't accept this ride. Without saying a single word, you pulled out 2 crisp 100 quid notes and slid them through the window. The driver, who had been talking about rules just a second ago, his eyes lit up like a 200-watt bulb. He changed his tune faster than a chameleon. Boss, you've got sharp eyes. Honestly, my car was made to handle overloads. Just sit back and relax. Saying that, he slammed his foot on the accelerator and the car shot through the air like an arrow. Little did anyone know that barely 5 minutes had passed when traffic police ahead waved them down and stopped the car. The driver turned back and gave you a confident look, as if to say, "Boss, don't panic, I'll handle it." The traffic cop standing outside, the moment the window rolled down, was already fuming. You again. You crossed a red light yesterday, got caught in a drunk driving check this morning, and now you're overloaded in street racing. You think you're some racing god or what? But that driver was a world-class drama king and street smart guy. Without flinching, he said straight away, "Officer sir, have mercy. Officer sir, you've misunderstood. The boss's wife sitting in the back is about to deliver a baby. Her water broke. I'm racing against death." The traffic cop's face went red with anger. "Where are you going for the delivery?" "Grand Hotel," came out of the driver's mouth without thinking. You, sitting in the back, nearly lost your mind. Who gives birth in a hotel? Is your wife going to deliver in the presidential suite? The cop scratched his head too. He quickly scribbled out a ticket. "Get out of here. Next time I catch you, I'll cancel your driving driving license on the spot. Watching the driver take the ticket with a big grin and restart the car, your eyes went wide. This world is truly one giant comedy circus. After enduring all the drama on the road, you finally lay down on the soft, king-size bed of the 5-star hotel's presidential suite. After a hot shower, a thought suddenly crossed your mind. Something's off. Sophie suddenly sent so much money, but it still hasn't been figured out where a college student got that much cash. If you ask her directly, that drama queen will definitely not tell you anything. Victor, come inside. You called out toward the door. Less than 3 seconds passed before that god-level hacker opened the door and walked in. Check it. Pull out Miss Sophie's recent bank statements and the full history of all her part-time jobs. Everything. Yes, young master. Give me half an hour. Top-tier hackers are masters of their work and low on small talk. A full half hour later, Victor placed that sleek-looking laptop directly in front of you. The screen was packed with your sister's complete data. Young master, Miss Sophie is currently working as an internet streamer. This is the link to her live stream channel. Hearing this, your eyebrows shot up and your face went dark as a frying pan. Streaming there. This industry is dirtier than a gutter. God knows how many innocent girls go into it and lose their way for the greed of a few coins from those so-called top donors. In the end, not even their bones are left. You could never allow your own sister to get trapped in this swamp. You immediately pulled out your phone and, with full killer instinct, searched for the account named Meadow Lane Idol King. What kind of bizarre name is that? It completely ruined your whole mafia boss vibe. But the moment you opened the profile, your pounding heart felt a little relief. This girl is just a small-time influencer with barely 200,000 followers. All the videos are just normal singing and dancing, and the clothes are completely decent too. No cheap or skin-showing content whatsoever. That's exactly why she hasn't gotten famous. In this day and age, without drama, who's going to watch you? You casually clicked on her ongoing live stream. The background was clearly a college dorm. On screen, your stupid sister was wearing funny, lazy sheep-style makeup and interacting with the live chat with complete innocence. She really did look very sweet. You were sitting on the leather sofa of the hotel's presidential suite, watching the phone screen. You gave an evil, smug smile and immediately changed your ID to Northern Village Chief. In the past, you were a certified freeloader who only watched streams but never sent gifts. You always thought that spending that money on spicy malatang was a much better idea, but today you had a different plan. You quietly entered the live stream with a level 1 account. Nobody even noticed. After all, there were only a few dozen people in the stream. Compared to those big influencers with millions of viewers, this setup was truly depressing. Just then, suddenly, a dramatic heartbeat music began playing in the background. You looked at the screen and saw Miss Sophie. Her eyes were red. Her voice was trembling. That heartbroken acting was so real that you could feel it even from behind the screen. But the very next second, she snapped her head up. A devilish smirk spread across her face. That sweet voice suddenly shifted into a bold, fierce tone. Boss, to hell with your beauty filter. I'm the boss of Northern Village. Even the village chief offers me a cigarette when he sees me. Even Grey Wolf has to send me grass cake. Hey, you stupid sheep. Stop talking nonsense in front of me. This sudden character switch left you completely speechless. Wow, my own sister has split personality acting skills like this. The live chat exploded immediately. Everyone started spamming Idol King O. When the atmosphere was at peak hype, a VIP named Brother Marcus entered. His account level was already 37. It was obvious he had no shortage of money. The moment he arrived, he showed off a completely cocky attitude and dropped a flirtatious comment. Lan, what did you think about the offer I made yesterday? Seeing this, your face turned red with rage. You could tell with your eyes closed what kind of garbage fills the minds of these top donors. They throw around a few coins and pressure girls into offline meetups, playing their dirty hidden games. Thank goodness Miss Sophie was bold enough to give a straight answer right to his face. Sorry, Brother Marcus, for these kinds of things, please find someone else. Hearing this, Brother Marcus's ego got hurt and he blew up. In his mind, if you just splash 10 to 20,000 quid on a struggling streamer like this, she'll go crazy for you. He gave a cold snort and threw out an open challenge. I'm staying as the top rank 1 in this live stream. Nobody tried to take it from me. And then that idiot slammed a 3,000 quid carnival gift straight in. Flashy effects started flying across the screen. Some small donors tried to challenge him, but Brother Marcus rained money down on all of them. 5 carnivals, 10 carnivals. In just a few minutes, over 10,000 quid was being splashed like water. The competitors who had been jumping around just moments ago ran away from the stream out of fear. The chat box filled up completely with Brother Marcus OP sycophants. Brother Marcus was now flying high on cloud 9. He started openly mocking people in the stream. Big talk is easy. If you don't have power, don't show off, or you'll end up eating dirt. Just then, the one who had been silently lurking until now casually typed out a single single line. Idol King, will you sing a song for the village chief? I want to hear the lazy sheep's song. You were making this demand from a level 1 account. In an instant, you became everyone's target. Before Miss Sophie could say anything, Brother Marcus jumped in first. Where did this loser come from? Got a level 1 account and making demands. Do you even know the rules of the stream? If you don't have money, keep your mouth shut and go sit quietly in a corner. The rest also started having fun at your expense. Northern Village Chief, shut up. Didn't gift even a single glow stick and wants the streamer to sing. Stop dreaming. Seeing all these troll comments, you didn't feel even slightly bothered. In fact, it was funny. You calmly opened the recharge interface and your fingers started moving fast across the screen. If you want to play a money throwing game, then today I'll show you what a real dimensional strike looks like. You gave a cold smile and thought to yourself, Brother Marcus wants the rank 1 position, does he? Then first ask your Northern Village Chief Grandpa whether he'll allow it or not. On the screen in front of you, you were watching your own sister, Miss Sophie, singing live on stream. Your eyes went wide and stayed that way. Damn, you'd never noticed before that this girl's voice is absolutely incredible. No wonder she's surviving in this industry. The moment the 3-minute song ended, the entire chat box was screaming once more. Some sensible smaller viewers were showering her with hearts and beer gifts. Sophie was very genuine too. She didn't look down on any gift and thanked everyone in her sweet voice, calling each one brother. This thing triggered that boar named Brother Marcus even more. He was definitely cursing internally. I splashed carnivals and still didn't get that treatment, while these freeloaders are getting called brother. That creep vented his frustration straight in the chat. Lan, close the stream, add me on WeChat and talk in private. Seeing that disgusting message from that old creep, you gave a cold smirk. Switching from the Northern Village Chief ID, you typed rapidly. Got nothing but loose change in your pocket, and the attitude is through the roof. And then, without blinking, you pressed the most expensive gift button on the stream. Northern Village Chief sent a carnival. Northern Village Chief sent 100 carnivals. A full 100 carnivals. Straight up 300,000 quid splashed in one go. And keep in mind, there aren't even 100 people live in this stream. This kind of scene, forget about small streamers, it was a riot across the entire platform. On screen, Miss Sophie froze completely watching these effects. She went completely still in her chair. Her mouth was open so wide you could fit an egg in it. On a normal day, not even the shadow of a carnival shows up. And today it felt like the god of wealth himself had come down to bless her. Thank you, Village Chief Sir. What would you like to hear for these carnivals? I'll sing. When she came to her senses, that silly girl immediately stood up and bowed 90 degrees toward you. Even her voice was trembling. There was a completely different level of joy in her heart. The very first thought that came to her mind when this massive amount arrived was that her big brother could now eat well every day, and her younger brother Stefan, studying in high school, would benefit from it too. After all, in her eyes, if boys look broke, no girl will even give them the time of day. She didn't want you to be seen as some loser in college. That's why this crazy girl was eating dry bread herself, cutting her own living expenses just to save up and send money to you. Honestly, you sitting on the other side of the screen had no idea how much she had endured alone. Watching these endless carnivals on screen, you were a little worried about her. You were scared that the waters of this platform run very deep. What if this girl lost control? If you felt like she had crossed her limits for money, you would take all that reward money back. Meanwhile, the public in the live chat had completely lost it. Damn, a real wild god level boss has appeared. Looks like the village chief sold the entire northern village to spam these gifts. 300,000 quid for one song. If I start a stream right now, would that be too late? Give me one carnival, I'll sing till morning. You didn't even glance once at that cowardly brother Marcus, who had long since run off with his tail between his legs out of fear of your money power. Maintaining your swagger, you quietly exited the live stream. Not even a second had passed before your phone vibrated. There was a private message from that girl through the back end. Village Chief, you didn't actually sell Northern Village, did you? This money? This is way too much. Should I transfer your share back? Seeing the screen, a faint smile appeared on your lips. Not bad. That much cash didn't mess with her head. She knows her limits. She's not one of those gold diggers who start calling you boss the moment they see money. She's not a brainless girl. You deliberately messaged her to test her a little. No need for a refund. Your clothes in your videos look really cheap. The colors even faded from washing them so much. Is your family really poor? She was streaming on one side and quietly replying to you with her head down on the other. It's fine. Clothes just need to be wearable. But my brother needs money, right? How will it work if a guy has empty pockets? Reading this message, your defenses completely broke. A strange burning feeling hit your nose. This crazy sister. Seeing this hurts so much that I feel like slapping myself twice. You forcefully controlled your emotions and typed, "Do you actually want to become a big internet celebrity?" Her reply came, "Not really. I just love singing. And as long as I'm happy, that's enough." Alright, got it. After typing that last line, you collapsed onto the bed and fell into a deep sleep. The next morning when you woke up in the presidential suite suite of that top-tier hotel. The staff had already laid out a luxury breakfast for you. Damn, expensive things really do give a completely different feeling. You had a long stretch and called out toward the door. Send Frederick in here. When you came out fresh, Frederick the butler was standing perfectly upright like a soldier on full alert. Without even looking at him, you casually flipped a black card in his direction. Take some people and go get 2 luxury cars. Come meet me back at this hotel once it's done. At that same moment, in a classroom at Heidelberg University, the counselor had just introduced 2 transfer students, a boy and a girl, Clara Fisher and Lucas Jones. These 2 were actually your secret agents, sent undercover to keep your sister safe. The students sitting below were on their phones, and Miss Sophie had her head down, quietly taking notes. But as always, some annoying fly would buzz around her sooner or later. Come for a grand lunch at that new restaurant at noon. Julian, I'm warning you for the last time. Don't call me and don't disturb my class. Miss Sophie didn't even bother to properly turn and look at him. Some boys sitting nearby were gossiping quietly. That scumbag, Julian Wagner, goes around with his nose in the air on his daddy's money, drives a cheap Porsche 911, and has been chasing after Miss Sophie relentlessly since first year. Word is this playboy changed dozens of girlfriends in a single year. There's no end to his shamelessness. His ultimate life goal is to make the campus's top 10 beauties his prey one by one. And now only rank 3 beauty, Miss Sophie, is left who hasn't fallen into his trap. Being humiliated in front of everyone like this, Julian's already exhausted face went red with rage. He moved closer and with a disgusting evil smile said, "You're just a cheap live streamer. Have a meal with me once. I'll throw enough money at you that you'll become a top internet celebrity. Deal." Saying that, he extended his dirty hand toward Miss Sophie's fair hands. Miss Sophie went completely pale with fear. She jerked upright. "Teacher, I need to go to the washroom." Using the bathroom as an excuse like that, she managed to escape from there somehow. Lucas, sitting in the corner, had been watching all of this very carefully. There was a deadly coldness in his eyes that could have killed someone. He turned and asked a random student sitting nearby, "Who is this lowlife? Acting so over smart and the teacher's not saying anything?" "Bro, that's Julian Wagner, second generation rich kid from a family with a 100 million quid net worth. Bro, don't mess with him. Our campus beauty will sooner or later become prey for that pig. We can only curse him in our hearts. We can't do anything else." When Miss Sophie came back from the washroom, she didn't have the courage to go back to her own seat. She quickly found an empty seat, and the person sitting next to it was none other than Clara Fisher. "Hello, my name is Clara Fisher." Clara stepped forward and passed a friendly smile. The 2 girls quickly hit it off. Miss Sophie poured out all her frustration and laid out the whole story of how Julian harassed her, every little detail, right in front of Clara. Meanwhile, Lucas had long since slipped away to a blind spot in the corridor. He took out his phone and reported directly to you the video of your sister being harassed, along with Julian's complete background and every detail, word for word, without leaving anything out. At this time, you were sitting in Rhine Manor in the western suburbs of Phoenix City, relaxing on your pure leather sofa, listening to this report over the phone. The glass of red wine in your hand suddenly shattered with a sharp crack. "He dared to touch my Sophie's sister. This Julian is literally dancing on his own grave." You were taking long strides through that estate with your butler and bodyguards. Rhine Manor, Phoenix City's top-tier #1 estate. Right next to you, a well-dressed real estate agent was pitching to you with full excitement, spitting as he talked. "Young master, this estate is a full 6,000 square meters. It has both indoor and outdoor double swimming pools, a private cinema, and 3 massive dining halls. 20 luxury cars can easily be parked here. The price is 1.138 billion quid, but if you pay full cash, I'll knock off the remaining amount. Straight yours for just 1.1 billion. You didn't even blink. Just casually glanced around and thought, yeah, this'll do. Frederick, buy it. Get the paperwork done quickly. You just casually threw out that line, turned around and walked out to sit inside that Rolls Royce with the VIP number plates parked outside. Your mind right now was completely tangled up in your sister's situation. Who had time to listen to this agent's rambling? That real estate agent froze right there. His brain couldn't even process it. He asked your butler with trembling hands, what did young master mean by that? The butler gave a cold smirk. 1.1 billion. Don't you understand? Yes, yes. Will you be taking a mortgage or full payment? Swipe the card directly. Full payment. Hearing full payment, the agent took a long, deep breath. His eyes went wide with astonishment. He was so excited he was barely not dropping to his knees. And during all this, you were already leaning back on the leather seat of your Rolls Royce, listening to a fresh report from your man. You hadn't known before, but the moment you heard it, the fire of rage blazed up inside your chest. Absolutely worthless. Not even worth a dog's death. And he's harassing my beloved sister this much. A chilling coldness came into your eyes, and your voice carried the fear of death. Go find out everything about him. My sister's birthday is coming up in a few days. Go select a top-level supercar as her gift. And yes, send some boys boys to loosen up that bug named Julian's bones. If he dares to go near her again, I will personally take his entire family from second generation rich to second generation beggars. Also, book tomorrow's flight. We're going to the overseas factory. It's time to start capturing some international assets. As night fell, the food street outside Heidelberg University was completely packed. That idiot Julian Wagner was sitting at a food stall. With full attitude, he tossed his Porsche 911 keys onto the table and was showing off in front of his yes men about how big and powerful he was. His ego was touching the sky. Then suddenly, bang, without any warning, two mountain-sized smiling muscle joints appeared and positioned themselves right on either side of him. The deadly killing aura radiating off them tightened the air around those yes men so much that not a single word came out of anyone's mouth. Julian's ego was still up in the clouds. He arrogantly tilted his head and snapped, "Don't you know the rules? Can't you see someone sitting here?" One bodyguard looked at him the way you'd look at a corpse. He leaned close to his ear and spoke in a completely cold voice. "You're the one called Julian, right? My master has sent you a message. If you so much as glance in Sophie's direction again, your father will drain every last penny he has and still not be able to save your miserable dog life. Master says he quite liked your arrogant attitude. You better pray that this arrogance of yours lasts all the way to the end." The moment he finished speaking, the bodyguard raised his right hand and, boom, slammed it down hard on the table. Julian swallowed his spit nervously. Cold sweat had already soaked through his back. With his own eyes, he watched that fully 2 centimeter thick, tempered glass table crack with a sound and shatter completely like a spider web. If that had landed on his skull, his brains would have been splattered out. The moment the bodyguards walked away, Julian's legs were shaking completely from fear, and he was wiping the sweat off his forehead, but there was a vile gleam in his eyes. He was the type who doesn't straighten up without seeing death up close. He was still cooking up dirty plans in his mind. If this doesn't work, I'll slip a drug into it. Once I cross the line with her, would he really actually kill me? The yes man sitting next to him said in a trembling voice, Bro, who were those people? They look seriously dangerous." Julian was faking bravado to hide just how terrified he was. "Probably my dad's new bodyguards. Must have come to call me home for dinner." His yes men quietly rolled their eyes and cursed internally. "You think we're blind? That one slap nearly blew your skull off and you're calling it dinner at home? You're about to eat your last meal, mate." On the other side, your sister was completely oblivious to all of this. She had just finished a nice warm shower and was humming to herself, getting ready to start her stream. And as far as you were concerned, you had long since moved into that 1.1 billion quid top tier estate. You put your mind to work, and suddenly 26 top maids, 8 Michelin star chefs, and 16 fully armed bodyguards had entered the massive estate. Even a private doctor and a top-level beauty manager had been set up. You stood in front of the large glass window, looking out at Phoenix City's glittering night skyline. A master plan had already formed in your mind. Once you were back from the overseas mission, on your sister's birthday, you'd bring your parents into this fortress-like estate in Phoenix City, and then you'd see who had the nerve to touch even a single hair of your family's head. You were stretched out wide on the leather sofa in that hundreds of square meter mansion, just scrolling through short videos to pass the time. Since endless cash had arrived in the card, the need to go to work had completely disappeared. Now it was nothing but pure rest. Suddenly, ding, a notification arrived. The only followed account on your list had gone live. Your own sister, Miss Sophie. You casually clicked on her stream. Damn, this stream, which normally had only a handful of people, the moment your level 47 god-level Rich Effects account entered, it suddenly started getting promoted like crazy, because the highest level people in the stream were usually just level 20 to 30 noobs. The moment you entered, those loyal fans started going absolutely wild. The entire screen was nothing but crazy comments. "Welcome, Village Chief. Does the Village Chief want a wife? Take our streamer. I'm a male fan, but I'm ready to marry too." Seeing these wild and thirsty comments on screen, you burst out laughing. Just then, someone mentioned Brother Marcus, who had run away the previous night scared out of his wits by your money power. You ignored it. Who had time to read their pointless theories? You moved your fingers and typed straight in full boss mode. "Stop this matchmaking drama. I'm this streamer's real big brother." The moment that line appeared, the entire stream exploded. On the other side of the screen, Miss Sophie's mind went completely blank. She couldn't process any of it. Her thinking was, her brother just graduated. How does he have hundreds of thousands of quid? Enough to throw gifts? This is definitely some kind of joke. The live chat started getting even more jealous and toxic. Everyone was having a laugh, suggesting you make this little girl your god sister. You couldn't be bothered to explain your identity. Going along with the flow, you threw out one attitude-filled line. Still haven't answered? What's that supposed to mean? Yes. Come on then. Today your brother will take you to a PK match. What are you going to achieve with this low popularity? I'll put you straight at the top. Miss Sophie couldn't handle this domineering CEO-style order and quietly clicked on a random matchup. The screen flashed and a new streamer connected, someone whose face had written all over it, "I need money." The opposite stream's popularity was double this one. Their rank board was full of old heavy spenders at level 30 plus. That fake green tea girl had barely opened her mouth before you felt nauseous. Oh my dear brothers, the opposite stream is so weak, isn't it? Please help me and beat them. Her overacting and fake baby voice probably gave her #1 fan brain damage. You gave a cold smirk. What's the point of talking to a girl who pulls cheap attention-seeking stunts like this? Your style is a straight one-hit kill. Your fingers tapped on the screen without stopping. Boom. A full 100 carnivals dropped, with effects so dazzling on screen they looked like they were being given out for free. The progress bar of the opposite stream that had been showing off just a second ago, you crushed it into such a deadlock instantly that there wasn't even a gap left. Your account level shot up like a rocket and landed directly at level 52. On the other side of the screen, Miss Sophie's eyes were about to pop out of her head. Her little hands started trembling with panic. She started getting worried that maybe this so-called Big Brother's intentions toward her weren't right after all. And the public in the live chat had completely lost their minds. The entire chat section had fully busted open. Damn, Village Chief is ultimate boss level. This upgrade speed is literally insane. A living god of wealth has literally descended to earth. 4 level jumps at once. That was absolutely brutal. Don't say anything, just keep spamming. Meanwhile, that fake baby voice girl who had been aggressively asking for votes just a moment ago, seeing this massive vote gap, she was so shocked the powder on her face started flaking off. Even if all her broke sponsors combined together, they wouldn't amount to a single leg hair of yours. That green tea girl put her brain to use, ignored her own fans, stepped back from the camera, and put on a white top that was way too revealing and small. She came bouncing back to directly flaunt her assets in front of the camera. It was obvious she was trying to seduce a real god-level boss like you through the screen. Miss Sophie had never seen such shamelessness before. Her small face went red with embarrassment. Click. She panicked and forcefully disconnected the stream. That girl's thirsty, desperate male fans completely tilted. All of them piled into your sister's stream at once and started begging pathetically. They started demanding she reconnect by spamming luxury cars and gifts. You were watching this drama play out on screen, but there wasn't a single emotion in your heart. In fact, you were laughing. You coldly typed just 4 words, "Next, PK, keep going," and you sent Miss Sophie on an unstoppable killing streak through the PK arena. Whoever came up against you, true to your style, you'd slam 100 carnivals straight in their face. You'd completely crush the opponent and grind them into the dust. They wouldn't even get a single chance to counterattack. The stream's popularity had completely exploded. Your account, right before everyone's eyes, had shot up to level 59 and was just 1 step away from the level 60 milestone. Down in the chat box, people were going crazy, worshipping you like a god. Village Chief is the ultimate boss. This upgrade speed is literally insane. Miss Sophie, sitting in front of her camera, had gone completely numb. In a single night, over 1 million quid had been thrown. For a stuck-in-place streamer like her, this was an astronomical figure she couldn't have dreamed of even in her wildest dreams. At first, she had planned to go offline right after this match, but who knew that 3 seconds later, random matchmaking would find an opponent who set a explosive atmosphere in the stream. On the other side was a handsome male streamer in a suit with a pretty professional stage setup behind him. He had over 1 million followers and his stream's popularity was 10 times higher than your sister's. But the funniest thing was that sharp fans instantly recognized that the one sitting at the top of their rank board was none other than Brother Marcus, the same loser who had just run away with his tail between his legs out of fear a little while ago. The moment Brother Marcus saw this, all his old and new rage exploded at once. He saw that on his side, there was not only a big streamer with 1 million followers, but also a VIP boss at level 66 sitting on the rank board. His confidence suddenly shot through the roof. Crushing someone like you at level 59 was as easy for him as squashing an ant. That loser immediately started showing off and set that male streamer barking like a dog. Hey, little sheep on the other side, ears open and listen up, surrender immediately, quietly apologize to Brother Marcus, sing a few songs, then I'll ask my brothers to get you some followers. So what do you say? seeing that cheap, arrogant face, you burst out laughing. Nobody forced you into a PK, and here you are trying to take advantage the moment you arrive. Isn't this just a move to humiliate people and show off to make money? What a joke. Miss Sophie, seeing so many people watching, got nervous and advised you that maybe they shouldn't fight this one. But how could you stand for this humiliation? You fired a single line in the private message. Destroy them completely. Don't back down even a little. You told her, let the fight finish first, then properly humiliate them and kick them straight out. You didn't even bother turning your microphone on. Just moved your finger and opened the recharge channel from the back end. The single limit was 3 million quid, and without blinking, you tapped it 10 times in a row like an auto clicker. A full 30 million was instantly loaded. Without thinking twice, you threw an outrageously arrogant and savage line on the public screen. Brothers of Northern Village, everyone turn your screen recording on. Today I'll show you what a real god-level boss looks like. The moment that comment appeared, everyone in the stream held their breath. The fans went completely crazy. They thought you were going to mortgage everything you owned to fight this hard battle. But the result? The moment the PK score showed up, those big bosses on the opposite side were sitting in their private group counting their coins. I'll put in 300 carnivals to test the water. I'll take a little risk and add 200 more. Their calculations were running perfectly. They figured if they pulled together 1,000 carnivals and threw 3 million, they'd completely destroy you. But you didn't even give these poor losers a chance to make their move. Your finger swiped and the gift effects straight up crashed the server. Northern Village Chief sent carnivals into 1,000. A full 8,000 carnivals rained down instantly across the entire screen like a ferocious storm. A real 24 million quid was washed away like water in just a few seconds. You crushed the opposite side's progress bar into an invisible flatline. A silence like a graveyard fell over their side. That male streamer who just a second ago had been spitting as he begged for votes, his fake smile froze right on his face. He collapsed into his chair out of fear, like a dead corpse. The rank 1 boss on the opposite side, his finger froze mid-air above the screen. Cold sweat started dripping from his forehead. Brother Marcus was swallowing his spit out of pure terror. Deep inside, regret was tearing him apart. Had they picked a fight with a boulder? No. They had kicked a nuclear bomb. He's throwing away 20 million like it's cabbage and tomatoes. What kind of monster is this guy? The 1 million plus fans on the opposite side shattered right there on the spot. Everyone surrendered together and dropped to their knees. They stormed into Miss Sophie's stream like crazy people, screaming, "Daddy, Village Chief is OP. I was never even fond of that stream to begin with. I've come to join Northern Village." The comments completely tore the screen apart. Miss Sophie's stream's viewership tripled instantly, and at this point, Miss Sophie, staring at your account's glowing level 75 badge, had gone completely numb. Countless carnivals, impossible to count. Within just 2 days, over 20 million had rained straight down on her head. She hadn't even had the courage to see this many zeros, even in her dreams, but there was no joy in her heart. She was completely melting with anxiety. After all, nothing in this world comes for free. What does this mysterious boss actually want from her? You were getting irritated looking at that long string of numbers in your account. Without overthinking it, you just tossed your entire commission toward that small streamer. Look how much you had frightened that poor little streamer. Sweat had broken out in her hands, and she was standing there trembling completely clueless. After all, you had just casually tipped tens of millions with the rewards with a flick of your hand. Who had ever seen a scene like this? The viewers in the stream had completely exploded. Someone was commenting, "Village Chief, what kind of reward is this? Do you want her to be the mother of your children?" Some were trolling. Understood, this cross-species superpower is fully clear now. You completely ignored these pointless comments and exited the stream directly. The moment you went offline, your back-end inbox completely blew up. You clicked on 99 plus messages and saw they were all exposing photos sent by different influencers. Their level was so disgusting that your mind went sideways. You immediately put all those desperate girls on the block list. Just then, a private message arrived from that small streamer named Miss Sophie. Her voice sounded like she was about to cry. "Village Chief, please give me your account number. With this much money sitting here, I honestly won't be able to sleep for even a moment." You laughed and replied, "Stop it. Don't overthink it. I don't even notice these small coins. Your birthday is next Saturday, isn't it? Keep it as your pocket money. If you're still worried, on that day, just come meet me directly at Rhine Manor number 1 in the western suburbs. I've planned a surprise for you." You said it very casually, but on the other side, that girl's heart nearly stopped. Rhine Manor number 1, that's a top-level luxury estate area. Although there was doubt in her heart, she was scared you might be some big bad wolf with bad intentions. Still, she gritted her teeth, took her best friend along, turned on a live stream, and made a plan to come meet you. She figured, if the camera's on, you won't be able to pull any tricks. But where did you have any interest in these pointless romantic dramas? The very next morning, you had already crossed the ocean and arrived in New York. Standing in the underground garage of your newly purchased luxury mansion in the suburbs, you took a deep breath and made your god-tier move, System Summon, swish. That empty garage filled with people in an instant. One Jade-ranked top-level spy, 20 financial sharks, 20 cyber hackers, and one gold medal assassin whose very surrounding air was ice cold. If any outsider had seen this scene, they would have fainted on the spot from pure fear. You tossed a card with $1 billion toward intelligence leader Victor. Take this money. I need you to dig out every secret in the entire world for me within the next 6 months. I want nothing left in this world that can hide from my eyes. After that, you looked at that financial genius, Robert Mueller, and tossed 4 cards straight at him. A full $400 billion. You patted his shoulder and your voice was so casual, like you were talking about dinner plans. Go build me a global corporation. Aviation, ocean control, mining, whatever hardcore industry you spot, bring it under your control immediately. Making money is not my goal. I want absolute control. Understood. Go. Robert Mueller's eyes went wide and stayed that way. He had never seen a boss in his life who showered money like this. Finally, you looked at that foreign assassin named Raymond Cross. There was an ice-cold chill in your eyes. This card has 50 billion in it. From today, whatever trash ends up in my way, cleaning it up is your job. I'll give you 300 top-level assassins every day. I've already thought of the name for the organization too. Phantom Corps. After setting all this up, you lit a cigarette and blew out a puff of smoke. When you walked out of the garage, nobody had dreamed that 2 dangerous organizations capable of shaking global power, the Intelligence Dark Web and Vanguard Phantom, had been built with just one wave of your hand. As far as money is concerned, in your eyes, on this planet, it's worse than scrap paper. Your ultimate goal is the entire universe. Anyway, you had come here just to buy a normal gift for your sister, but the moment you stepped into the top-level auto expo of this financial hub, damn, the $1 million luxury cars that showed off on the streets out there looked like junk at bargain prices here. The bar of this place was so high that without serious net worth, you couldn't even set foot inside. The rule was simple: no entry for the poor. You were doing around with your butler and bodyguards. Honestly speaking, these supercars weren't quite matching your standard. A man who sits on premium Rolls-Royce sofas every day, why would he torture himself by driving himself? But then you thought not liking to drive and not having it in your collection, those are 2 completely different things. Your eyes landed on that absolutely badass car in front of you, the one with the killer look. That Aston Martin matched your vibe perfectly. The foreign salesman standing beside it, seeing your aura, came over rubbing his hands together like a faithful dog. He was just about to start rattling off his professional knowledge when you raised your hand and stopped him cold. Save it. Can I get immediate delivery? The foreigner went silent. He thought, this Asian rich kid is a bit too direct, isn't he? He quickly nodded and bowed. Yes, sir. Whichever car in the showroom you like. You gave a cold smirk. Your next move was about to blow the minds of everyone standing there. You were pointing with your finger like you were placing an order at a roadside darbar. This Aston Martin, that Bugatti, and those 2 Ferraris, give me the black and the red. I want both. Oh, and that red one over there. Give me that 6 as well. The foreigner's eyes were about to pop right out of his head. He was shouting, "Oh my God," out of his mouth. He was looking at you like the god of wealth himself had appeared in front of him. The only thing stopping him was that he didn't drop to his knees right then and there. But you were completely chill. You just sent Frederick to swipe the card. Along with this, you also received an invitation to a top VIP auction. Money didn't affect you even slightly. You were just enjoying the expressions of awe on these clueless foreigners. You had thought today would pass peacefully just like this, but who knew that when you went shopping in the luxury mall, one completely ridiculous incident would happen. You had just bought top-level jewelry for your family. You paid and were just about to walk out when suddenly some black-clad men stormed inside waving guns. Damn! You'd heard there was a trend of armed robberies here and now you were actually seeing it in person. You went blank for a moment. Do these donkeys have straw stuffed in their brains? Robbing such a high-end luxury mall, they are definitely running straight toward their deaths. For safety, you signaled your bodyguards not to pick a fight right now and to stay hidden. The fire of rage was burning inside your chest. What kind of trashy scene is this? Let me get back to base once. I'll put 20 heavily armed guards on my security. If anyone so much as tries to raise their head, I'll riddle them with bullets on the spot. In less than 3 minutes, those foreign robbers professionally stripped the place clean. But what really messed with your mind was that one idiotic criminal, on his way out, spotted the jewelry-filled bag in your bodyguard's hand. Blinded by his own greed, he turned back. He pointed his gun at your bodyguard's head and forcibly snatched that bag away. Watching them walk out with full arrogance, the rage inside you erupted like a volcano. In your territory, it was always you who took from others. Since when did these trash gangsters get the nerve to climb right over your head and dance? Walking back to the villa, the more you thought about it, the angrier you got. You immediately made your move and instantly summoned 20 top-tier armed bodyguards. With a completely cold face, you gave Victor a death command. Use all your underground networks and dig those robbers out, especially that bug who snatched my bag. I'll show him that whatever he ate so greedily, he'll have to spit it back out drenched in blood. At this moment, in a dark slum area, all those robbers were drooling over that bag stuffed with gold, feeling like they had hit the jackpot, dreaming of getting rich. Those donkeys had no idea in their wildest dreams that what they had stolen was not gold. It was a literal death sentence, especially their leader. When he saw no one was around, he yanked off his black mask, and from behind it emerged an extremely fierce Asian face. He was plotting how to trick these idiots and run off with all the goods himself. Can anyone run after touching your things? Whether someone is foreign or local, in this territory, whoever you want dead won't see the next day's sunrise. Who would have thought Victor's speed of work would be this terrifying? The intelligence network you had set up had spread like blood-sucking leeches into every corner of this city. Take the example of that Black Beach bar in the south of the city. Weird people were dancing on the dance floor, and those few robbers wearing heavy gold chains were shaking their hips like madmen. If you had been there, you would have recognized in a single glance that these were the same trash who had looted your jewelry in the mall earlier that day. These two were stuck to some girls, deep in full party mode, when suddenly their entire bodies started convulsing, as if someone had hit them with high voltage electricity. They rolled their eyes back and dropped straight to the ground like dead dogs. Some undercover agents in normal civilian clothes, without saying a single word, grabbed both those pieces of trash and dragged them outside. Outside, a white Mercedes van was already waiting. The car door opened and they were thrown inside like garbage. The accelerator went down and the car shot straight toward the deserted outskirts of the city. Are these the same two? The driver asked, glancing in the rearview mirror. The leader sitting in the front seat took a cold breath. Exactly. Our top boss has specifically given the order to finish these two. A new recruit sitting in the back, swallowing nervously, started asking, what's the real background of this organization we're in? The moment that question was heard, a graveyard-like silence filled inside the car. The leader stared at him the way you'd stare at a corpse. You want to die? You're sneaking around discussing the boss? If our big boss blows even a single breath, you and your entire family will vanish from this world. These were the lowest level thugs of your dark web, the most basic pawns of your dark web, the absolute dominance you had asked for. Those who stay with me will rule, those who go against me will be killed. To fulfill that, Victor had pushed his power to the absolute limits of madness. Here, only performance spoke. The more targets you eliminated, the more you crushed others and climbed to higher positions. Not long after, both those robbers were tied up with ropes and thrown into a ruin. What horrifying torture was about to happen to those two next? That was not something these low-level goons had the standing to ask about. The next day, when the sun was already high overhead, the moment you opened your room door, Frederick the butler was waiting outside with full respect. You had a stretch and asked casually, "Any news?" "Master, the men have been caught, but they had divided the goods among themselves and sold it off. However, in the investigation, we found a very interesting detail." You were a little confused. What could be interesting about catching some street-level thief? Frederick lowered his voice. Among the gang of robbers, there was one man who disappeared completely the moment he entered the slum area. When our team investigated in detail, it turned out he was not a local robber at all, but an Asian who had come in disguise with makeup. This rat is now planning to escape to Hong Kong. Hearing this, you broke into a big laugh. Wow, coming all this way, changing his disguise and freeloading on the robberies. This is genuinely first-class talent. You gave a cold smirk and passed the order directly. Tell Victor to make it slow and painful. Right, yes, I was just remembering. The self-defense gear I needed, has it arrived? In this awful place where you can get shot just taking a breath, I'm not going anywhere outside without a solid weapon. Master, weapons have been arranged overnight for you. Everything is kept in the basement, just waiting for you to personally check it yourself. Hearing this, the energy inside you came alive. You didn't even bother eating breakfast and walked straight to the basement with Frederick. But the moment you opened that heavy door, you were completely shocked. You had expected your men to have arranged just a few basic pistols to get by. But honestly, your eyes went wide and stayed that way. Was this self-defense? It looked like preparation preparations for World War III were underway. Heavy firepower was hanging in a line across the wall, from small pocket guns to assault rifles and submachine guns. And in the corner, my friend, RPG, rocket launchers, and full boxes of grenades were all neatly stacked up. You picked up a small MP5 submachine gun with full excitement, a deadly machine that fires 800 rounds per minute. If you just hold the trigger down, you can mince a man in under a minute. If you didn't have to worry about a SWAT team showing up, you'd have fired a few rounds right then and there just for fun. Those gleaming yellow bullets, lined up in a row, looked more beautiful to your eyes than gold biscuits. You waved your hand with full boss attitude. Get the car ready. Tonight we go to the auction and make some noise. Yes, sir. We won't let any trash ruin your mood. The moment you stepped out of the basement, Frederick immediately gave orders to the entire army of black-suited bodyguards. Everyone load your pistols, fill up all the hidden compartments in the car boots, pack dozens of MP5s and RPGs, throw in a few boxes of grenades too. One after another, ammo boxes started being loaded into the cars like madmen. That fear of not having enough weapons was now completely gone. This was a fully dimensional strike level of security feeling. While you were getting dressed in your expensive designer suit to head to the top-tier auction that night, on the other side at Heidelberg University, that death-flirting rich brat Julian was staring at your sister non-stop. He was laughing like a madman and looking at the background check report on your sister. Reading about the normal farming family written in the report, he breathed a sigh of relief. In his cheap eyes, your family was just a recently graduated broke big brother and some elderly farmers back in the village. No strong background whatsoever. And as far as that death warning you had sent him a few nights ago, that idiot had long forgotten it. His overconfidence had grown so much that he started thinking a mysterious young master like you wasn't even worthy of shining his shoes. The prey I've set my eyes on will be mine tonight, no matter what. Julian licked his lips and with a disgusting smile pulled out his phone. He immediately texted those fake green tea roommates he had already paid off. The money will come through. Tonight things need to go as planned. At that same moment in the girls' hostel, those three selfish green tea roommates signaled each other and immediately surrounded Miss Sophie. Their fake crying and emotional blackmail forcibly dragged your sister, who had been about to edit a video, into a KTV. And these idiots had no clue that the very moment they stepped through the main door of the KTV, an extremely low-profile black sedan pulled up outside like a ghost. In that car were none other than your top-tier bodyguards. Two mountain-like bodyguards walked straight into the KTV and pushed open the door of the private room next to your sister's. Inside sat some street thugs who were just about to kick off, but your men didn't waste a single word. Thud. A thick stack of cash was slammed straight down on the table. "We need this room. Get out." Their voice was so cold and dangerous that there was no chance of refusing. Seeing those sandbag-sized fists of the bodyguards, the thugs broke into a cold sweat. They picked up the money and decided their best move was to tuck their tails and run. Meanwhile, in the room next door, the atmosphere had already turned very strange and tense. Miss Sophie was watching those three roommates who had put down the mic and were sitting with their heads down, busy texting on their phones. Alarm bells started going off in her head. She was no fool. She immediately stood up and made an excuse to go to the washroom. But just then, one of the green tea roommates gave her a strange look and insisted on going with her. Miss Sophie's heart sank. She now fully understood the true face of these people. She clenched her fist and decided that the moment she stepped out of the room, she'd run straight to the street. But it was already too late. Bang! Someone pushed the room door open hard, and Julian stood in the doorway with a disgusting, filthy smile on his face. "Oh wow, going to the washroom. Your brother will escort you." Seeing this, Miss Sophie's face went completely white. She immediately pulled out her phone to send an emergency message. But just then, the green tea roommate standing nearby slapped it so hard with a single strike that the phone flew through the air. That woman, even after showing such shamelessness, put on a fake innocent expression and said with a sneer, "Oh sorry, there was a spider there. Young Master Julian, now you'll have to get us the latest model phone." Her fake, mocking expression was enough to make anyone sick. "What you people are doing is a crime. Let me go," Miss Sophie shouted with both anger and fear. But those three green tea roommates didn't care about Miss Sophie's life or death any more than they cared about their branded bags. With a shameless smile, they said, "You just take good care of young Master Julian," and turned to walk out of the room to leave them alone. Julian was now completely blind with his own arrogance. In one swift move, he pushed Miss Sophie down onto the sofa and screamed like a madman. "In this room, I am the law. But the very moment those 3 green tea girls opened the door to walk out, the smiles on their faces froze completely. The next instant, all 3 women started screaming like they'd seen a terrifying ghost in broad daylight. Screaming in terror, they stumbled and fell back inside the room. Julian, who had just been about to force himself on someone, saw this and flew into a rage, cursing. Why did you 3 come back? You all want to have fun together? But the moment he looked toward the door with full fury and irritation, every last drop of blood drained from his face. He froze as if lightning had struck him. He saw that standing in the doorway, like angels of death, were the 2 top-tier bodyguards you had sent. Their strong hands were holding those 2 yes men who had been standing guard outside, dangling them in the air, one in each hand, like dead corpses. Crash, crash. Those 2 worthless yes men were slammed onto the room floor so mercilessly that not even a scream of pain escaped their mouths. Immediately after that, the main door of the room clicked shut and locked from the inside, with the bone-chilling cold gaze of your men watching everything. Looks like you took the warning given a few days ago as just a joke. Those black-suited bodyguards protecting your sister in secret didn't even glance at those terrified dogs lying on the floor. They walked straight to the sofa and looked at Miss Sophie sitting there shaken and frightened, her clothes slightly disheveled. For a moment, fear showed in the bodyguard's eyes. If they had been even 1 second late today, and your sister had gotten so much as a scratch, you, sitting overseas, would have uprooted the entire city of Hamburg from its roots. Miss, let me safely drop you home first. Miss Sophie's eyes immediately went red. Her honor had just barely been saved from being torn to shreds. She didn't want to stay in that hellish room even a moment longer. Meanwhile, those scheming green tea roommates who had been part of this plot, the moment they saw the tables had turned, they dropped straight to their knees on the floor. They started begging with fake tears streaming down. Sophie, please forgive us. We were forced into this. Please take us out of here too. Their fake, nauseating faces filled Miss Sophie with nothing but disgust. She didn't look back once and walked straight out behind the bodyguard. But as she reached the door, a fear crept into her mind. Julian's family net worth is in the hundreds of millions. Would this create any big problem? The bodyguard burst into loud laughter. His voice carried a dangerous dominance. Miss, stay completely worry-free. From tomorrow morning, all this trash will vanish from your college permanently. At this moment, the atmosphere inside the room had grown so heavy that even breathing was difficult. That rich kid Julian, swallowing his spit, got up with trembling legs. What's there to be scared of? My father's net worth is in the hundreds of millions. Who in Hamburg would dare lay a hand on me? Just then, one of the green tea girls started begging again. Boss, we honestly have nothing to do with any of this. Please let us... Her sentence wasn't even finished. Slap! A thunderous sound rang out. Your men had no time for pointless things like showing mercy to women. A backhanded slap landed so hard that the girl flew through the air and crashed straight onto the glass table. 3 of her teeth came flying out of her mouth, along with blood on the spot, and half her face swelled up like a balloon. As silence like a morgue fell over the entire room, the remaining 2 green tea girls had even held their breath out of sheer terror. They forced their sobs back down their own throats. But would just going mute save them? Your men had no word called mercy in their dictionary. Slap, slap. 2 more heavy blows landed, and both those girls dropped to the floor like dead dogs. The whole room suddenly erupted in ghost-like screams. If one more sound comes out, I'll swell up the other side of your face to make it even, the bodyguard said, in a completely cold tone, dusting off his hands. All 3 girls had become like ducks with their throats wrung. They held their blood-covered mouths tightly shut. Even though they were shaking with terror, not one of them had the nerve to make a single sound. After cleaning up these insects, the bodyguard's death-like terrifying gaze locked directly onto that arrogant Julian Wagner. That spoiled rich kid had never seen such a terrifying face of death in his entire life. A chill ran down his spine. His legs turned to jelly and he crashed badly to the floor. Don't come near me. Killing someone is a crime. It's against the law. The bodyguard burst into loud laughter right there. Now you remember law and rules. Rules only exist to bind weaklings like you. You should honestly thank God above that you're still in your own country. The bodyguard leaned down and patted Julian's cheek like you'd pat a stray dog. Tell me, which dirty hand of yours touched our miss just now? Julian started shaking his head frantically like a madman. Tears were streaming from his eyes. No, I didn't even touch her. I really didn't. Still running your mouth? Then I'll assume both hands touched her. The bodyguard, without a second thought, picked up the heavy glass ashtray sitting on the table. This single move scared Julian so badly that he wet himself right there on the spot, and a strange stench spread throughout the room. Left hand, please let me go. My father has a lot of money. I'll give you 1 million quid. Just let me live today. 1 million quid. What a pathetic joke. That loose change isn't even equal to 1 day's interest on my overseas account. The bodyguard, without blinking, picked up that heavy ashtray and brought it down on Julian's left hand with full force. Crack. The bone-shattering, spine-chilling sound rang out crystal clear across the entire room. Those 3 green tea girls were sitting hugging each other with their eyes squeezed shut out of pure fear. They didn't even have the courage to look. They were now understanding that compared to what was happening to Julian, the slaps they had received were like some great blessing from God. Call your father, don't make me say it twice. Julian's face had completely twisted with pain, but he knew his finder was his only last hope now. With trembling hands, he dialed the number, and the moment the call connected, he started wailing out loud like a child. Dad, save me. Someone wants to kill me. On the other end of the phone, that nouveau riche Heinrich Wagner began trembling with fear the moment he heard this and immediately screamed, Julian, what happened to you? Who had the nerve to touch you? The bodyguard snatched the phone from his hand in one swift move and spoke in an ice-cold voice. University Town, New Year, Honkai TV, room number 4. Come here and take him away. Saying that, he cut the call straight off. In less than half an hour, a sweat-drenched Heinrich Wagner arrived with his men and threw open the room door. But the moment he stepped inside, the first thing his eyes landed on were those 3 girls with faces swollen like pigs, and on the floor, writhing in pain, his own son, whose hand bones were completely shattered. Heinrich Wagner's heart shuddered with pain, and the very next second, a volcano of rage erupted inside him. He gritted his teeth and asked, Who are you people? What exactly did my son do that you did this to him? The bodyguard calmly got up from his spot and wiped his hands with a tissue. I had you come here, not so I could listen to your useless nonsense. I just wanted to see what level of ignorant father raised such a stupid son who invites his own death. Now that I've seen it, I'll be leaving. Reaching the door, the bodyguard stopped. He turned around and threw one extremely cold and dangerous look. Remember, from tomorrow, if any of this trash shows up anywhere near our mess, next time the conversation won't end with just a swollen face. In Hamburg, Heinrich Wagner, who had been running his own way for all these years, had never been humiliated like this before. His eyes were bulging out of his skull with rage. He stared at the bodyguard's back as he walked away and screamed like a madman. Are you blind? How did you dare lay a hand on Heinrich Wagner's son? Today's matter is not finished yet. Not finished. The bodyguard heard this and burst into a loud laugh. This old man still thinks he has the standing left to say it's not finished. Maybe now, even an easy death will become a dream for him. You should be praying to God above that you get to live a little longer. The bodyguard left with one last terrifyingly aggressive look. My young master is overseas right now. When he returns and personally makes plans to deal with you, let's hope people like you manage to survive in front of him for even 1 day. Heinrich Wagner had gone absolutely mad with rage, smoke practically coming out of his head. But these frogs in a well had no idea that the bodyguard's young master was none other than you, sitting right there overseas. The very moment you stepped foot onto the return flight, the countdown to the permanent erasure of all these clowns would begin. Miss Sophie had been safely dropped back at college, but her mind was still completely numb. She couldn't stop herself and asked the bodyguard straight out, Who are you people who have been secretly protecting me and came to save me just in time? You have such enormous power, while my family is just a normal farming family. The bodyguard simply gave a mysterious smile. Miss Sophie, don't overthink it. When the time comes, you'll find out everything on your own. When Miss Sophie got no straight answer, she let the matter drop right there. Meanwhile, back home, the morning had just arrived. You, sitting overseas, were relaxed in the 3rd row of the VIP section of an extremely grand top-tier international auction. You were bored, scrolling through your phone. All the details of what had happened to Sophie had already reached you. Simply stepping in and saving her was not enough. You needed to finish this matter from the roots. You immediately sent a message to Robert Mueller. Open a branch in Phoenix City as soon as possible and fully acquire the marine transport business. Crush them completely with money as fast as you can. Just then, the next auction item was announced on stage. Changhua Dukai Chicken Cup. Starting bid 1 million. Would anyone like to raise the bid? You casually shifted your position and accidentally your elbow bumped into Frederick standing beside you. The very next second, Frederick shouted out loud, 25 million! Your eyes went wide and stayed that way. You looked at Frederick like he'd lost his mind. Do you have some interest in this junk? Frederick said with complete innocence. Young master, wasn't that your secret signal to place a bid? Your lips twitched in the strangest way. Incredible. That was just an accidental elbow bump. Oh well, forget it. Bought a cup for 25 million quid. Can at least take it home and drink warm water water from it, watching you throw away 25 million like it was cabbage and tomatoes. Some regular people sitting behind you stared with their mouths wide open. Immediately after, another item flashed on the big screen. It was a national treasure. Snakehead, starting bid 10 million. Every Asian billionaire present had their eyes go red. They were raising bids with everything they had, but just then, an overconfident foreigner stood up and shouted, 130 million. A hush fell over the entire hall. That price had completely blown past all limits. The foreigner thought he had surely won this one. His arrogance was at cloud 9. He figured he had clinched the deal and was standing there with his nose stuck up in the air. You casually said without blinking, Frederick. Frederick understood the signal instantly. He raised his paddle and calmly spoke a number, 150 million. Boom. The entire hall gasped in shock as one. Everyone was staring at you like they'd seen a ghost. That was 50 million quid, mate. You could buy an entire company with that. The foreigner's arrogance shattered into pieces, and he sat down without making a single sound. Immediately after, the sheep head was brought up for auction. Without thinking even for a second, you threw money at it and bought that too. The entire hall had gone completely numb, and it didn't stop there. Dozens of antique items that came up after that. You bought them like you were picking up wholesale goods at a cheap dollar store. With this insane display of money power, you had locked the mouths of every single person sitting in that hall. After the auction ended, you got into that bulletproof Rolls-Royce with your dozens of rare purchased items. 5 Range Rovers were rolling in a convoy ahead of and behind you. The moment the convoy moved out of the city, the driver suddenly hit the brakes. Young master, there are some people following behind us who have no fear of death. Your face went completely cold. Damn, the anger from yesterday's mall robbery still hasn't cooled down, and today some more blind idiots have shown up. They actually think they can rob me with a couple of cheap pistols. You gave a cold smirk. Lead them to the suburbs. Today we'll find them a nice spot out there and bury them there. Your convoy of cars sped toward a desolate, barren area. Those 3 beat-up cars and 7 or 8 motorcycles following behind were still thinking they'd caught a big fish today and kept up the chase. You gave the order. All 4 Range Rovers suddenly spun around and completely blocked the road. Before those robbers in front could understand what was happening, your ferocious bodyguard stepped out and pulled open the hidden compartments in the backs of the cars. What came out? Full boxes packed with RPG rocket launchers. Every bodyguard had a fully loaded MP5 submachine gun in hand, and high explosive grenades hanging from their belts. Those street-level robbers who had come to rob you. Seeing this scene, they wet themselves on the spot. Boss, we just wanted to steal a little money. You've summoned an entire army. What kind of normal person carries RPGs to a business meeting? Before they could even start begging for mercy, one of your bodyguards hoisted an RPG onto his shoulder, took aim at the front car, and fired. Boom. An eardrum-shattering explosion rang out, and that car went flying through the air, turning into a fireball. Seeing this terrifying blast, the motorcycle riders behind went completely white with terror. They tried to frantically spin their bikes around and run. You hadn't initially wanted to step out of the car, but watching this action outside, your hands started itching too. You opened the car door, took an MP5 from Frederick, stood behind the cover of the car, and unleashed a hail of bullets on those fleeing cowardly dogs. This is amazing. Damn crazy fun. Coming to pick a fight with your heavily armed army while carrying nothing but a few cheap pistols was exactly like trying to crack stones with eggs. There was no contest whatsoever. Those robbers' cheap guns had barely managed to fire a handful of shots, while your heavily armed bodyguards had already emptied several magazines by then. 800 rounds per minute of heavy firepower.